watch this, you're going to love this. Right, so what's your first name? Denise. And so tell us again what's wrong, Denise.
Osteoporosis, so bone on bone, definitely. This knee's getting worse.
Yeah.
I work retail, so 3 days on my feet. But I've got a lot in here that needs to come out.
Right,
I'm
okay.
also fighting type 2 diabetes, which I said I was getting on top of, and then was jumping back again.
All right, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
talk after we're off camera, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what
Yeah.
can help with that. Because I've got a son with type 1 diabetes, and we managed to halve his insulin in just 4 days.
Yeah, mine's 2.
Right, so they're doing something with my legs. So we're starting on the knees. All right, now, so Denise feels that the knees are bone on bone, and they may be bone on bone, but it actually doesn't matter. This is why it doesn't matter. Every cell in your body has consciousness. Now, conventional science doesn't get this yet, as in Newtonian physics. Newtonian physics thinks we're molecules and atoms and that things don't have consciousness. It's like, well, of course they have consciousness. To me, it's like, how can you not think that, you know, trees and animals and cows and sheep, of course they have consciousness. Now, quantum physics looks at the smallest elements of matter, and quantum physics tells us that we're made of vibrating energy. Now, this is the thing. When you eat an apple, that apple can go through your digestive system, and it can end up becoming nose, eye, liver, kidney, toenail. Isn't that amazing? A pharmaceutical drug can't do that, can it? But food, and back in 400 BC, Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be thy food. Right? That's still true today. Still true today. Whenever we have pharmaceutical drugs, they tend to have side effects, which we then need more drugs for, which have more side effects, which we need more drugs for. Now, let's think about it with our business heads on. If I've got a business where in my business everybody gets well, how long will that business last for? It won't, will it? I'll make everybody well and then there's no money. So there's no money in people getting well. There's only money in pharmaceutical business if you keep people sick. For that very reason, I'm suspicious of pharmaceuticals, but also when I work as a healer, I see a lot of stories. So if you eat the right foods and your blood is right, then your cells can behave in a different way. So it's all about our food. Yeah, our health is all about our food. So you would think then that doctors would do a lot of study on nutrition, but they don't. All their study is about pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah? Now, there's a guy who spends part of his time in New Zealand, part of his time in Australia. He's called Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he was the lecturer of, which university? I'm pretty sure it was Stansted, but I'm not sure. He was the university professor. He's a cell biologist, and it was at the University of Wisconsin. He left there, and he ended up being, I'm pretty sure it was Stanford, that's it, thank you, Stanford. All right, and what he worked out was this, and other cell biologists know this as well, is that if you take stem cells are from a fetus, yeah? If you take stem cells and put them in a petri dish, you can put the same stem cells in one dish and they'll grow muscle, another dish they'll grow fat, another dish they'll grow muscle. Isn't that amazing? But if you think about it, that's how this body has to work. And so in a petri dish, there's a culture solution. So if he changes the culture solution, the cells behave differently. The culture solution in our bodies is blood. So if we've got good nutrients in our blood, then the body can start to heal better. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So even though you may feel this is bone on bone, I know with healing, just try this right one. Is that feeling pretty good?
That's That's my worst one. This
Yeah.
is X-rayed as bone and bone.
Yeah.
This is my worst one now.
I know, because this one's good now.
Yeah. They went cold,
Yeah,
but all the time I was sat there, I feel as if my body's pulsing.
yeah.
I can feel, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that felt, they felt cold.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if they're bone and bone, if we can affect what's around them. See, what Bruce found was that, we just do a little bit of a biology lesson. They used to think that the intelligence of the cell was the nucleus. Everybody thought the brains of the cell was the nucleus, until some scientists did a process called denucleation. They took the nucleus out and the cell didn't die. If the nucleus had been the brain of the cell would have died. It didn't, therefore the brain is not the nucleus. When they did denucleation, what it meant was that the cell couldn't reproduce. Yeah? So we can sort of think of the nucleus as the gonads of the cell. Now the other discovery that Bruce made, which I think is brilliant, is this. A lot of doctors think that the genes govern what happens. Yeah, and if you're stuck with a certain gene, you're going to be stuck with a certain health condition. Not necessarily true. Because inside your genes is your DNA. Yeah, remember biology at school? Inside your genes, you've got chromosomes, DNA. Yeah? Now your DNA is like a blueprint. Alright, so the nucleus has got the DNA in, and the DNA is like a blueprint. So you imagine going into an architect's office and the young girl's drawing a diagram of this building. If you said to her, where's the on-off switch on her blueprint diagram, she'd look at you and say, what? It's a blueprint. So the DNA is a blueprint. It hasn't got an on-off switch. It's the blueprint of how the next lot of cells are going to be. It's like 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, like photocopies, yeah? What determines what the cell does, whether it triggers something in the genes, is the environment. So you could have two people with the exact same genes in different environments. One would get triggered and one wouldn't. Yeah? So his science gives us power, because when we think it's our genes that determine our destiny, then we're powerless. But when we understand, no, it's the environment that sends a signal to the genes, all we've got to do is change our environments, get ourselves more relaxed in a less stressful environment, and we can change our health. Or we can change our thoughts about our environment. We can learn to meditate. You could be in a stressful situation and learn to meditate so it no longer affects you, and you can get better health that way. Yeah? So it's really, really cool, his stuff, his science. There's a couple of things I can refer you to. One is a book which is called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. Another one on YouTube, you'll find The Most Important Hour of Your Life. They both cover different things. They're both worth watching and reading. Now, what's happening for you this time? Is it more warm, this one?
Yeah, that's warm, but
Yeah.
this is cold. It almost feels like there's air conditioning on it.
Yeah, and there isn't. Right, so just try that one now.
Bit better.
Yeah, cool. And then rest it down. Yep. This one's a bit gritty, so it feels to me. Now, first things first, you don't drink enough water.
I don't.
No, all right. Every function, every biological function in our body requires water. Blinking, swallowing, digesting food, everything requires water, even thinking. Our bodies are about 80% water, the brain is 85% water, so when we're dehydrated, the first bit to suffer is our brain. If we want to avoid dementia, yeah, we need to keep ourselves really well hydrated. Needs to be good quality water, ideally not with fluoride in. Fluoride is no good for us. It calcifies the pineal gland. And if you think about how an older person looks, the wrinkles on the face, that looks a lot like dehydration to me, doesn't it to you? Yeah? So one of the best things, ladies and gentlemen, we can do for our skin is keep ourselves hydrated. Yeah? Now the surgeon's just taken out some waste matter out of that knee. So just have a walk around and see how it feels.
Can you?
Yep.
I can feel it's hard because you're not doing everything that you normally would do.
No.
Yeah. This one's a lot easier.
Yeah.
This
Cool.
one is definitely.
Right. So now sit here. Now we're just going to go from head to toe.
Yeah.
All right.
because it gets my back as well.
Yeah. Now the reason that sound is so powerful, sound is so powerful. We don't really understand yet about power of sound. We do with an MRI scan. Have anybody been for an MRI or been with anybody for an MRI? What a hideous sound they make, really. Oh, it really does something not nice inside me, that sound. Don't like that sound. Think of it this way, if you were crossing the road, and as you crossed the road, you heard a screech of brakes, you turn around, there's a car hurtling towards you, you go, ready for impact. It'll be, well, if you can't get out of the way fast enough, you'd be ready for impact. When the sound comes along, all those cells in your body that are in a state of, not because of a car going to hit you, but it could be bills, alarm clock going off in the morning, mother-in-law coming to stay. When the sound comes in, it makes your cells vibrate. As your cells vibrate, they give up what they're holding on to. So you've got a tendency to hold on to stuff. Yeah. Would not surprise me one little bit to find you're constipated because, and you don't need to answer that on camera, but when we hold on to the old SHIT, guess what happens? Yeah, we get constipated, yeah. Now why is it we hold on to stuff? At some level we think if we hold on to stuff, then maybe someday someone else will get what we've been through. But it's not true, we don't. Someday you just get sick, caused by all the stuff you've been holding on to until you decide, why am I holding on to this stuff? Am I ever going to see that person again? Probably not, might as well let it go. Yeah? Cool. So this sound's going in through the crown, it's going right the way down to the base chakra, then it's activating the next chakra up the solar plexus, the sacral center, and then starting to touch on the solar plexus as well. Now there's something that I need to say to you, and it's this. Life isn't fair. We worked that one out yet? Life is not fair. Alright? Rapists don't get what they deserve, paedophiles don't get what they deserve, Christchurch killer doesn't get what he deserves, right? But this is really, really cool. You get to choose how you feel. You don't get to choose what happens to you, but you get to choose 24/7 how you feel, and how you feel determines the quality of your life. So even if things are happening in your life that you don't want, you still get to choose how you feel. And this is what I choose to do. When something shows up in my life that isn't what I want, I'm really, really glad it's shown up. Because now it's shown up, it can't show up in the future, can it? It's shown up now. And that means that's been cleared to make way for new, better things. So whatever shows up in my life is a good thing. Yeah, so whatever shows up, I trust is absolutely good. Now, if something's showing up in my life and it is not what I want, if I resist it, no, that's not what I want, I will hold it in place. But if I say, yeah, I'm really glad that's shown up now, what do I want next? Then I can put my energy into what I want next. So one of the things that's happened for you through this lifetime is you've had a tendency to take how you've been treated by others personally. And it's because it's felt personal, because they did it to you, not to anybody else. But the truth is it was never ever personal. It was all about how they felt. It wasn't about what you deserved. It was always about them. Yeah? Yeah, if you cross paths with somebody that's grumpy today, guess what?
I'm grumpy.
They're grumpy, yeah.
I've been angry lately.
Yeah.
I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Just little things.
Yeah. Yeah. And so just recognise that your quality of life is determined by how you feel, and you get to choose. You get to choose how you feel. And one of the things that's helped me no end is the purple powder that you all took as you came in, because that keeps me on an even keel emotionally. It's very rare for me to get upset about anything seriously. But gives me energy. If you've got energy, it's like water off a duck's back. Things don't affect you the same way. And then because I'm like that, then good stuff happens. Because the energy I'm putting out is good. Good stuff happens. And Miriam and I, we travel a lot, and we notice if ever either of us is not quite in the right space, the proverbial starts happening. So we have to sort ourselves out pretty darn fast. Otherwise, the stuff we don't want starts to manifest in direct response to how we're feeling. It's like when you really, really don't need a parking ticket, guess what you get? A parking ticket. When you really don't need to have to put new tyres on the car, guess what you get? Flat tyre, you need to put new tyres on the car. Yeah? When you're in a really, really good space, very often good stuff starts happening. Synchronicity, you start, opportunities come, and somebody tells you about this amazing new job. So you take responsibility for getting your energy up. Yeah? Cool. And it's all about getting your energy up. There's different ways you can get your energy up. One of the ways I work to get my energy up, number one point of call for me is the purple powder. Number two is exercise, fresh air. Number three is good company. You know, and these aren't in any particular order. What would number four be? Reading a book by an uplifting person. Somebody like Wayne Dyer, really like Wayne Dyer's books. What else do I do? Do some yoga. Be around young children. Anything that gets my energy up. So the sound dislodges the energy, the clapping, when they find a little pocket of energy, the clapping is used to disperse it. Now have another little walk around, see how that feels.
It's crunching.
Crunching.
Crunching more. Feel lighter.
Feel lighter,
Yeah,
cool.
feel lighter.
Lighter's good. Crunching in this regard is good, because like rather stiff goes to crunching and then it'll come more and more fluid. Yeah. How's that feel?
That's not as painful.
Yeah, that's good.
It was
Now-
painful before to do that.
Now when you scan your body, where is the worst bit now?
My head.
Your head.
My head is
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Right. Well, we'll just chop the head off. Right.
Yes,
That's
I've been really fuzzy and forgetful and, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So let's fix your head. Okay. And so as I work on a head, you guys, if you want your head worked on, just let the sound go into you too. You've got free will. There are a number of different guides that work with me, and so even while I'm at the front with somebody, they will work on you in the audience. Dr. Augusto, that's working through me, is saying that thinking is overrated. It's far more important that you feel. Words were created to obscure feeling. Think about that. Words were created to obscure feeling. We used to communicate with each other through feeling sense, and we could feel if we could trust another person. And now we try and explain ourselves to another person. Whereas if you just sit with that other person and feel them and they feel you, that's when you get true connection. And it's got worse and worse, and we write letters or text people or send emails. Communication gets lost. The best thing you can do if you want to communicate with another person is just be with them, be fully present with them. Just be with them, just sit with them. You can feel how they're feeling. Okay, now Dr. Augusto is very gently and kindly saying to you, you try to do too much. You're too busy too much of the time. You're not going to be on your deathbed wishing, I just wish I'd been a bit busier. You're going to wish that you had more moments, more time in nature, more time with loved ones, not rushing around from A to B. connection your feet are making with the floor, the connection your body's making with the chair, your breath, what it's like to breathe, and just reflect that this moment is all that truly exists. What we think of as the past is a previous now that we recall or not in this moment. If all our awareness is in this moment, we can let go of the past. What we think of as the future is a mind projection of what may or may not happen. It's not real. It's always now, you're always here. And it's in this moment that you can access your power, your divinity, the all that is. It's in this moment you can experience oneness with other people, whether it's the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the stars. So keep more of your awareness in this moment. Don't keep projecting yourself into the future. Enjoy this moment. Do your best in this moment with the information you have. Just keep yourself in this moment. Do what feels right in this moment. And your life will take care of itself. If you just keep being here now. How does that feel for you, knowing that you don't need to go into past or future? You can just be here now. Does that feel good? I don't think your mind believes it quite yet, eh?
I'm very sceptical on Scorpio.
It's okay. Skepticism is good.
And I live in the past and I worry about the future.
Right, okay. So let me explain about skepticism. We need skepticism. And you need to be now skeptical about your ability to be skeptical. Because if she was to be skeptical about everything, every thought, every idea, every belief, she'll be enlightened. So on our spiritual journeys, we need to become more skeptical, not less. Skeptical about things we read in newspapers, see on TV. Skeptical about what politicians tell us. And so just let yourself bring your awareness to this narrow gap that is this moment. And the best way of doing that is to focus on the breath. You observe the breath. When you're in this moment, there's nothing to worry about because there's just the breath. There's just the in-breath and then the out-breath. There's the moving of the chest. All your awareness here and now. All your awareness here and now. Now, all you've got to do, this is true for all of you, all you've got to do for the rest of your time here is be here now and be you. It's not hard. You make it hard. By thinking about what might happen, what you're going to do if that happens. All you've got to do is be here now and be you. Be the best you can. Be your authentic self. Express yourself as best you can without being disrespectful to anybody else, without judging anybody else, but have a clear expression of your feelings. Okay, just notice how your head's feeling.
I wasn't thinking about it.
Cool. Cool, another walk around, just see how that feels.
Do feel not as bad.
Not as bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Fuzzy.
Fuzzy, yeah, we'll let you just sit there.
Yeah.
You'll find that they keep on working with you through the rest of the show, and then we'll check in with you in the second half. Right, who else needs something fuzzy?